Good day. This is a little experiment in seeing non-duality. You've heard me talk about non-duality a little bit before in some of these videos. But to explain it in words doesn't really work. Using this as an example or a pointer sometimes can bring it to a new place of understanding. My name is Kenton Whitman, and I believe in you. Let's give this a try. Take a look at this. Now, if you're like most of us, you are going to see a sentence. And you're going to, this is if you read English, you're going to instantly interpret these words. And you're going to read, "Can you read this?" This seems unremarkable. Of course, we see writing, we read it, we get the meaning. That's how it's supposed to work. But we've forgotten to notice one important little thing. And that is that really, if we just look at this visually, without our symbol mind working, all we have are essentially black marks on a white background. The important thing to notice is that we are almost unable to see it just as black marks. If there's a bunch of writing in front of you, your eyes are going to see it, your mind is going to interpret it, and you're instantly going to turn it into words. Again, you're probably going to find that it's impossible almost to turn it into just black markings on a white background. If this happens against our will, automatically teaches us something about how our mind works. Let's look at another set of symbols. Now, these you may not recognize as readily. They might look a little bit more like black marks on a white background. But to some people, these symbols are full of meaning. And they'll scan across here, and for most of us, we'll pick out one or two of these symbols that pops out at us. It has the meaning, and the rest our eyes are going to sort of gloss over because this does not compute. They just are symbols. And we might put a loose category, oh, that's Arabic, or that's a mathematical symbol. But, again, to a mind that has conditioned itself to see the symbolic within those symbols, or the meaning of those symbols, then it won't be able to see the marking anymore. It will only see the symbol, the meaning that pops into our mind. There's an interesting experiment, and I'm just going to put a letter A up here in front of us. And if we stare at this A long enough, something might start to happen. So just stare at it. And as I talk, just let your eyes settle on it and just observe it. Now this might take 30 seconds to a minute, so if it doesn't happen within the period that I'm speaking, hit pause and just stare for a little bit. But what you might note begins to happen is that that A ceases to become an A. It begins to become just a mark, a black mark on a white background. It might start to look odd. By staring at something long enough, we're tiring out the symbol part of our brain, and we're getting to see, perhaps for a moment, what an A actually looks like. Now, as we explore non-duality, ideally we begin to start to see the world as it is. Now, of course, we're not going to lose our ability to see the symbol or to understand what an A is. But we can start to begin to see the A as a symbol, or to see the A as just markings, rather. And at the same time, simultaneously, see the A as a symbol that has meaning. This is one thing to do with letters and writing, but quite another to try to do with the rest of the world around us. But essentially, this is exactly how our dualistic mind works. It looks at our wife, it looks at our husband, it looks at our image in the mirror, it looks at money, it looks at a tree, it looks at all of these things, and it sees only the symbol. Just like with the writing, we see only the meaning that we've put into our head, and we cease to see the real thing itself. The magic is just in awareness or observation. If I stare at that A long enough, if I just observe it passively, I start to see the marking. Now, if I start to just observe my wife, my husband, the tree, the whatever it is, your child, if you can observe that thing passively without judgment, then we begin to see it more fully. We don't lose that ability. We're not going to lose anything. We don't lose that ability to be able to see, for me, my wife, Rebecca. But if I can simultaneously see my symbol of her and see the living reality of her, then I've begun to see into non-duality, and I'm beginning to experience a hint of it for myself. As I explored this more and more, I started to develop the ability to look around myself and to notice my mind crystallizing things into symbols, so that I can look around and I can see the world, and I saw colors, and I saw shapes, and I saw something I can't even describe. Now I can turn around, I can do the same thing again, and I can watch my mind process birch tree, hazel, oak, balsam. It just hits symbol after symbol. If we train ourselves to do this, especially if you try it with a loved one, and look at them and try to see them just as they are, it helps me to just project love onto that person, just the way they are, because that love for me can pull the rug out from under judgment. And just see that person, whether it's your husband or your wife or your child. Look at them. See them as they are. And just feel your love for them. And then something can start to happen. You might start to see the A. You might start to see that something that they are, that exists when our symbol mind is not crystallizing a symbol over the top of them. Try it. If you experience something interesting, please share in the comments. If you've been able to see or feel the difference in your own mind between your symbol-making mind and your direct observation mind, then share what you've experienced, and also share how you started to access that non-symbolic part of your mind. If you want to go deeper and you've explored this more deeply, share how you've unified, how have those come together into a single reality. That symbol mind interpretation of the world and our pure, we might say, raw sensory experience of the world. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to see what you have to say in the comments.